Thank you so much, Karen. So firstly, I would like to know if I'm clearly audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So before I start talking about myself, I would like to share my screen because there is like a small PPT I would love to show. Okay, so can everyone see it? Just let me know.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
Okay, perfect. So I will start with my introduction. So my name is Fiza, and I'm an Erasmus scholar, and currently I'm pursuing my master's in membrane engineering for sustainable development, and my batch is 2024 to 2026. So as for a little introduction about myself, I would call myself a fresh graduate. Like I did my bachelor's last year from honors in chemical engineering, and I applied for Erasmus in my seventh semester. And yeah, that's a little about myself. So coming to what Erasmus is exactly. So it's like 2 years master's program uh, across different countries of Europe. And the minimum number of countries you would study in are few. And if you're getting full scholarship, Erasmus Mundus, everything would be covered. That includes that you would get a stipend and you won't have to pay for your tuition, your travel, insurance, visa, everything is covered within the stipend that you will be getting. So, as for who can apply for the Erasmus Mundus program, so if you have done your bachelor's or if you are in the last year of bachelor's, you are eligible to apply for it, and there is no age limit. You are 25, you are 30, you can apply, and there is no specific CGPA requirement, but it's good to have good CGPA. And I would like to mention that there are some programs which specifically tell that your GPA should be more than 3.5. A lot of programs have these requirements, but most of the other programs, they do not have any specific CGPA threshold that you should be having, but still it's good to like have a good CGPA, like as long as it's about 3.4, 3.5, you're good to go. And then we have got the language proficiency test. It's good to have IELTS, TOEFL. Again, same as GPA. There would be a lot of programs which specifically say that you need to have an IELTS or TOEFL. But then there are other programs which say that as long as you can get a proficiency certificate from your university, you are good to go. For example, I know a lot of people in Pakistan, when they were applying, get the certificate from their university, which says that the bachelor studies of the student was conducted in English, which means that you're eligible to use that certificate as a language proficiency test. And thank you. Let me see if I can use the. Yeah, I think I can do it. Just I want to actually use a marker. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So see IELTS and TOEFL. And lastly, it is open to all nationalities. So let's say if you're having let's say more nationalities. For example, there was this one program where it was during my bachelor's when I was applying to exchange. A person was selected, but couldn't go because they had dual nationality. So the same thing does not happen in Erasmus. Even if you're having dual nationality, you are eligible to apply for it. So just give me a moment. Yeah, okay. So as for how to apply, so this is a link, and under this link, you will find around 190, 200 Erasmus programs that are under this scholarship category. And to know that which program you're suitable for, you just need to go to this website, and there will be a lot of like this. Let me show you. Yeah, so for example, this catalog, the link I've shared. So under this catalog, you can see that there is a search option, and you can search a keyword. For example, my background was chemical engineering, and I want to see that what programs I am eligible to apply for. So let's say I just search chemical engineering here. And these are all the programs which would be related to my bachelor's degree, and I can apply for them. And you can simply just go to the program's website. Another very important thing is that, like I said, that under Erasmus, there are going to be around 200 programs. And let's say there would be only like 20, 25 relevant to you. So here you can go to the program's website and you can see what is the eligibility criteria of the program, what are the deadlines. So everything you would find under the specific program's website. So each program has its own website. Yeah, okay. So you can search using a keyword, and it is very important to know that if you're whether eligible for the program or not, which means that, for example, in my program, they had specifically asked that you should have these background, like you should like your bachelor's degree should be either in chemical or materials engineering. So whenever you're applying for a program, you have to see that whether your background, your bachelor's degree, is eligible for that program or not. And again, on the website, you can see that what countries are involved, what would be like your mobility track, and I would like to mention an example here. There was a person who was selected for a program, and one of those program countries were Israel. And of course, as a Pakistani, he couldn't join that program. So when you're shortlisting a program, it is very important that before investing your time, you should see that whether you're eligible to go to that country or not. So coming forward are the basic documents required. Your passport. Most of the programs do not require the passport in the application process, but it is like advisable to have it. I see that someone has raised their hand. If you're having any question, then we will have a question answer part at the end of the presentation. Okay. So firstly, it's good to have a passport, and again, everyone would know that the passport like procedure in Pakistan, it is very slow, and like even for myself, it took me around 6 months to get my passport. So it's good to have it apply for it beforehand. Secondly, your academic transcript and degree. Again, they do not need to be attested while you're applying for the program. So after you're selected, you will have like enough time to get it attested and everything. So during the process of applying, you don't need to have them attested. But as for the degree part, if you're like in your final year and you do not have your full transcript or your degree, then you can apply on the basis of a hope certificate, which means that it would be again a document from your department, which would say that you would graduate. You would expect it like you are expected to graduate by this date, and that works. That's what it worked for me. Again, English proficiency test that we have already talked about. Then the major selection of yours would be on basis of these next three things: your letter of motivation, your CV, and a minimum of 2 recommendation letters. And lastly, experience certificates, because whenever you're showing in the application that I have these achievements, you need to show a proof as well. So it's good to have them. Yeah, okay. Now, firstly, I would like to discuss recommendation letters. सबसे ज़्यादा जो मुझे questions मिलता है, question सुनने को मिलता है, that is that who should we get our recommendation letter from? So it can be from your academic place and from your workplace as well. Like you can get it from your teacher, your supervisor, your final year project supervisor, or it can be from your supervisor or manager in your company as well. But if you're getting it from a teacher, it is advisable to get it from either associate professor or like a full professor rather than from a lecturer. And there are most programs where you can upload the letter by yourself, but other programs want your referee, like your professor, to apply it by themselves. So if that's the case, then it's very important to inform your professor beforehand, because most of the professors are not aware of this. And it is something that I personally faced as well. Like it was delayed a lot because the professor didn't know he has to apply it by himself and everything. So it's very important to stay updated. And it is very important that each recommendation letter, it should be specific to the program. The name of the program should be mentioned on the letter, and it should be specific to the program. You cannot like just get one recommendation letter and use it for all the programs. That is not advisable. And lastly, as for what should be the content of the letter, it is very important that your professor, the referee, should not only be talking about your skills, but he should also mention the examples. Like, where did he see those skills in you? So here I would like to share an example of my on recommendation letter, which I got from my principal. Yeah, it says. So firstly, it should be on the official letterhead of your institute, like if it's company or university, it should be on its official letterhead. And firstly, they should be telling that how do they know you, whether they know you through a course, have they taught you a course, or whether they know you as a final year project supervisor. So it is very important to firstly for them to introduce themselves and how they know you, like their relation with you. And then they should start, of course, talking good about you. But when they are saying you're a good student, they should say it with an example. How do they think I'm a good student? Okay, because they have taught me this project management course, because they know this is my GPA, they know that I'm in the top 10% student of the batch. So they should say everything with a proof or an example, basically, that why I'm a good student. And then coming to the technical part. Again, if you are a like STEM student, like you are applying for some engineering program, then everything, your letters, CV, everything should be technical, right? So Here he's talking about my analytical and communication skills, but then he's backing those up with a project that I worked on. That okay, these are the skills in her, and this is where I saw her skills. And then when he's talking about my confidence or my achievement other than studies, he's again backing it up with some proof that okay, this is the exchange program I went to, so it shows that you have good relations with your professor, like I again see some hand, but I guess it's fine. Okay, so again, it's important that the letter should show that your professor knows you in good way. If they're saying that you have these capabilities, then they should back it up with some proof that where they saw those skills in you, and then like why they would recommend you for the program. So again, it should be specific to the program, and it should not be general, right? And it is advisable to get it from like your PhD or your principal or your HOD or your project supervisor. Now coming to what you should be mentioning in your CV and your request format and everything. So this is like a recommended format, especially when we are talking about um, programs in Europe. It is like a very recommended format. You can just simply go to this link. You can enter your details, your academic details, and everything, and it would give you like a complete CV. And secondly, it is suggested that when you're applying for masters, it is very different than for a PhD, right? And so your CV does not have to be very detailed or very long. Just make sure everything you're writing it should be related to the program. And when you're doing that, it is literally possible that it would exceed 2 or 2.5 pages. So don't take it to 3 or 4 pages. And then thirdly, you should use starting geek, which is basically shouldn't just mention that okay, I have done this. If you're applying for a technical program, you also need to tell what you exactly did, how you did that, and what were the results. So it's very important to use numbers. You need to use data. For example, if I'm saying that in my FYP, I worked on this project, it was very efficient, it is not enough. I need to tell that what was the exact efficiency I achieved. So it's very important to use numbers. It is very important to use the tools like the software you used or the equipment. For example in my CV, if I'm saying that okay, I was like performing a synthesis of this thing, it is not enough. I need to tell that how I did that thing, what were the equipment I used, what were the software I used, right? So if you are a STEM person or like if you're applying for some engineering programs, it is very important to use numbers and tools in your CV to like show what were the exact results you achieved. And then as for what should be exactly the headings in the CV, then of course it's good to start with either your experience or your education. And again, in your education, do not mention your SSC or your matriculation, like your intermediate or matric level. It's not necessary. Just start with your bachelor's. If you're having an exchange programs, mention that. You don't need to mention anything before that. And then your research projects, your work experience. Yes, you should mention your internships here as well. And then your extracurricular or leadership activities. I also hear this a lot from students that how are our extracurricular activities going to help with the program? They're not even like related to the program. It's fine. Extracurricular activities are not supposed to be related to the program but there would be skills that would be related to the program. For example, let's say that I say that okay, I was leading member of this non-profit organization. Then I can say that I was leading let's say the procurement part. Then in that part, I can say that I learned the skills of, let's say, time management or good communication. Then these things count in the Erasmus. So the thing is that when we're talking about Erasmus programs, they don't only want students that are good in studying, but they also want students that have got good interpersonal skills, who are good in talking, who are good in communicating, who are good in like getting along with others. They want students like that, right? So it's very important to not only focus on your research skills, but also on your interpersonal skills. And these skills can be shown by your extracurricular activities. Like if you are part of some sports teams, or if you're part of some like let's say music club or society, that counts here. And in the end, you have to mention your skills like all the technical tools, software, and languages. Even if it's Urdu, English, and Punjabi, only do mention that. And lastly, your interest, because like I said that they want to see both side of yours, not only just like research side, but also interpersonal skills. So it's quite important to mention your interest. Now coming to the letter of motivation, like I said, that letter of motivation and CV, they're like the two major things that are going to decide whether you are going to get selected or not. So letter of motivation, first I think the start of your motivation letter, it should be able to get the next person hooked to your letter. So it should start like in the form of a story. But that story does not need to be emotional. You don't need to write something that is not related to the program. Now I would love to share my example here. So the program I'm applying to, it has like it is related to conservation of water and energy, like the natural resources basically. So I started with how in my childhood I was collecting donations for this like water board basically, but that water board later got contaminated. It was an emotional story for me. I wrote it in an emotional way, but it was related to the program, that how the water source was contaminated afterwards. So you should write a story, but it should not be unrelated to the program. Like I have received so many letters where people start with how they have not been able to get education and how they were facing financial issues. It is not related to the program. If you want to mention something, then it should be related to the program, right? Secondly, you don't need to mention your financial background, because when you're writing the letter for Erasmus mentors, you don't need to focus on the scholarship. That okay, I would get the funding. Instead, you should focus on the essence of the program, like what you would be studying in the program, right? So there are three main questions that every program would ask you to answer. Here are the key points. So firstly, what is your ultimate goal? What do you want to work on? For me, it was working on the conservation of water resources, and for that, I found a research gap of um, it's going to sound very like technical, but like I wanted to work on self-cleaning membranes. That is basically like I wanted to make the whole process of water purification easier, so people, industries would go for that recycling process. So that was my ultimate goal that I had in front of me, and all the letter I wrote, it was based on that goal. That okay, this is my goal. I want to work on water resource conservation. This is what I have done for it till now. Like I did my bachelor's in chemical engineering. I was doing my internship on this. I was doing certifications. So all these things I have done to work towards my goal. And these are the skills I know. So again, it's same for the letter of recommendation. You cannot only say that I am a very good team player, I have very good research skills. It is not enough. If you are saying this, you need to give example of where you got that skill from, right? So that's where when I'm saying that I have an internship in this thing, I will be talking about what I learned in that internship, what were the skills I got in those internships, right? And lastly, you have to talk about your future. So half of the letter would be more focused on what you have done in the past, and the other half would be focused on what you want to do in the future. And when you're talking about your future, you will talk about okay, this is what I want to do in the future, and this is how the program is going to help me. So I'm सिर्फ डायरेक्टली प्रोग्राम की बात नहीं करनी कि अच्छा प्रोग्राम ये यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, ये कोर्सेज हैं एंड मैं पढ़ना चाहता हूँ. No, you have to relate those courses with your future goals. For example, here I would like to show an example of my letter. Just yeah, perfect. So when I'm talking about the second half of my letter, I'm saying that okay, this is the program, and I'm talking about each university involved in the program. So I was saying that this is my future goal: self-cleaning membrane. This is what I want to work in the future. So this one course in UCD Prague is going to give me this skills that I will apply on my future goal. Then I said that okay, in this university, I'm going to study these courses, and this I believe would give me this skill that I will apply on my future goal. So the whole idea is कि आपने ये नहीं show करना कि अच्छा मेरा तो goal है इस masters में आना. No, you have to show them कि you have got bigger goals. Like you want to work on something that is going to benefit your surroundings, and then आपने उस goal को relate करना है अपने program के साथ. Like program को आपने सिर्फ एक जो है एक step show करना है, not the goal. Okay, तो that's the point. They want a person जिसके अपने goals हों, जो सिर्फ program में आना चाह रहा हो, but program के अलावा भी उनके goals, right? So yes, the first half would be focused on what you have done till now, and another important thing is that when you are dividing your motivation letter into paragraphs, there should be just one main idea of the paragraph. For example, what I did was in the first paragraph मैंने सिर्फ अपने background की बात की हुई थी, जो मैं बता रही हूँ मैंने donations इकट्ठी की थी for this school, वो एक मेरा background था. Then I talked about my bachelor's degree in the next paragraph, उसमें जो मैंने skills वगैरह सीखी. Then in the next paragraph I was talking about my internships and my certifications जो मैंने course वगैरह से की थी. Yes, they do count. And then उसके बाद I was talking about my exchange program, and then उसके बाद I moved to the future goals, जिसमें I talked about the programs courses के program में courses कैसे हैं, मैं क्यों universities में interested हूँ and how they will help me. And then I talked about the future prospect. Yes, it is advisable to tell कि आप future में PhD करना चाहते हो, क्या करना चाहते हो and everything. So I mentioned that okay, in future when I will be in Europe, I want to work with these companies. मैं इस इंडियन कंपनीज में काम करना चाहती हूँ. These are my future goals, and then I want to create a collaboration between these companies and the companies in my country. So these were like my future goals. And then I know बहुत important part होता है Erasmus में बात करना इसकी cultural experience की बात करना कि okay, I want to experience their culture, their food, their languages. It is important, but it's not the most important thing. So when I was concluding my paragraph, वहाँ पे मैंने जो है छोटा सा I talked about कि अच्छा I also want to experience their let me see if I can open it. Yeah, for example, here you can see that okay, here I'm talking about the industries only, and here I'm talking about like I'm concluding my whole letter here, and here I'm talking about very like briefly I have talked about this thing. Yeah, this here you can see as a person who embraces diversity, I want to experience languages and culture, and this is it. इससे ज़्यादा मैंने कोई बात नहीं की about the cultural aspect. क्यों? क्योंकि I am applying for a research based program. I am applying for a technical program, and they want a person who has got like good technical capabilities, right? So जिसमें मेरा international exposure रह चुका है through my exchange program. It is important, but it is not the most important thing, right? So when you're writing a letter, again, I would like to conclude everything I have said for the letter of motivation. So firstly, start with a good background, but it should not be emotional or very like financial aspect of your life. It should be really related to your field. It should be something जिससे show हो कि आपकी जो डिग्री थी बैचलर थी आपने क्यों किया, फिर आपके फ्यूचर गोल्स हैं सब बेसिकली रिलेट करना है. So like if you are not sure कि आपको स्टोरी में क्या लिखना है, it can be a third word issue that can be solved through your degree basically. जरूरी नहीं है ऐसे हो, but it's like one of the tips that you can follow. And just make sure कि आपने दोनों चीजें पर फोकस करना है. Everything you have done in the past, firstly, and secondly, everything you want to do in the future. And again, program is not the goal. The goal is your research gap you want to cover, and then through the program you will achieve that. And again, the committee, the selection committee, they would love to hear about their universities, and they want a person जिसको idea हो कि वो apply क्यों कर रहा है. So it's very important to read about the universities and how you can do this. जब मैं बता रही हूँ start मैंने बताया था कि हर program की अपनी website है. When you will go to that website, you will find all the involved universities there, and you can go to that university and you can see it. You can learn about their departments, their laboratories, and then you can write your motivation letter based on that. Just show होगा कि you actually know about the universities you're applying to. And lastly, as for this AI generated part, it is good to use AI, but only for refining your letter, because AI आपको जो चीज लिख कर देगा, just know कि बहुत ज्यादा students AI use कर रहे होते हैं, and जब बहुत ज्यादा students AI use कर रहे होंगे, there won't be much difference in their letters, right? So main चीज है Erasmus में बहुत लोग अच्छी अच्छी प्रोफाइल के साथ अप्लाई कर रहे होते हैं, so you need to make yourself stand out. And if you're using AI, then you cannot make yourself stand out. क्योंकि बस आपको general चीजें देगा. So you can use AI to define your letter and for correcting your grammatical mistakes. And another last thing, don't write things in a very complex way. Just know कि आगे Europeans बैठे हुए हैं, and बहुत सारा Europeans की first language नहीं होती English, right? Not everyone is really good at English, so don't use unnecessarily fancy or extravagant words. Just keep it as simple as possible. हाँ, जहाँ पर technical words की जरूरत है, जहाँ पर feel करना चाहिए, use that, but don't use unnecessarily difficult words. Just keep it as simple as possible, easier for the next person to read your letter. And if you are having engineering background या फिर chemistry से related especially, then तो छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं जो count करती है. For example, if you're writing CO2 or CH4, just make sure that 4 or 2 are in the subject. So these things should be taken care of. Okay, so as for what are the things that you need to focus on right now, especially अगर आप जो है अपने bachelor's में हो, what you should be doing. Firstly, you need to start searching and shortlisting programs. Like I said that there are around 200 programs. उसमें almost 25 होंगे जो आपसे related होंगे, hardly 25 or maybe one less than that. And then you can apply to all programs, right? हाँ, पहले Erasmus में limit होती थी that you could apply to 3 programs in the maximum, but now you can apply to as many programs as you want. But again, it's not recommended because आप जितना programs से apply करोगे, उतना ज़्यादा आपकी जो लेटर्स वगैरह वो जनरल होते रहेंगे. इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेक श्योर कि आप जो है 7-8 अपने लेटर्स को एंड एवरीथिंग आप जो है पोस्ट रेलिवेंट रखो प्रोग्राम्स. इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. सो इट इज़ रिकमेंडेड टू जस्ट स्टिक टू लाइक 4 to 5 प्रोग्राम्स ताकि आप जो है अच्छे से उन पर फोकस कर सको. So start searching and shortlisting programs. Read about the programs, read about the universities involved, and read their eligibility criteria कि आपकी जो bachelor's degree है वो relate भी करी है program के साथ or not. And then prepare for IELTS if not done yet. IELTS is very expensive, so if you are taking the test, it is very important that you are doing it after a thorough preparation. बहुत ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स मेरे पास कंप्लेन आती है, वो जल्दी में आज दे देते हैं बट उनके स्कोर नहीं अच्छे होते. सो इफ यू आर डूइंग दैट देन मेक श्योर यू आर डूइंग इट आफ्टर थॉरो प्रिपरेशन. एंड देन ड्रॉप योर सीवी एंड लेटर ऑफ मोटिवेशन अर्ली एंड गेट फीडबैक. ये चीज़ें लास्ट मंथ में छोड़ने वाली नहीं है क्योंकि आपने जो है रिव्यू वगैरह भी कराना होगा लेटर्स का, जो प्रोग्राम के एलुमिनाइज वगैरह है, करंट स्टूडेंट है, यू इट इज़ गुड टू गेट इट चेक फ्रॉम देम. आप उसे रिव्यू कराएं. सो स्टार्ट डूइंग इट नाउ बिकॉज roughly October, November में applications खुलती हैं and most of the applications close down in January. Yes, like I said कि Erasmus के अंदर काफी ज़्यादा programs हैं, तो हर program की अपनी like deadline होती है. But usually they are open from October to January or Feb. Okay, so contact potential recommenders. Like I said, professors are very busy. If you're and especially अगर आप किसी HOD या principal से letter लेना चाह रहे हो, so they are very busy. So it is good to like get contact and get in contact with them beforehand, and then engage in relevant internship, exchange programs, and volunteer work. So this thing is like very, very much applicable to current students. So we bachelor's कर रहे हैं. If I talk about myself, then I was in my like sixth semester, and sixth semester ये होता है when you have to decide कि आपने future में करना क्या है. You have to decide कि आपने job करनी है, masters करना है, या फिर किस like future में what you want to continue, and उसी time पे you are applying for internships and everything. So it is very important. Let's say अगर आप अभी अपने second या third year में हो, so it is important to do internships and choose a final year project that is related to your master program that you want to do in the future. तो मैंने भी ये किया था. I shortlisted 3 programs जिनका मैंने बिल्कुल first slide में नाम भी था. So I shortlisted those 3 programs and मेरा जो final year project था वो मैंने उन program की basis पे select किया था. Like अभी I'm doing membrane engineering and मेरा final year project था वो water purification पे था using membrane reactors. So it is very important कि आपकी internships वगैरह हैं and courses, certifications, try to make them relevant to what you want to do in the future. And lastly, if you're applying for some STEM fields, for example, जैसे मेरी chemical engineering की है, so you can try assisting your professors or senior with research work. So if I talk about my university, it was mandatory for us to do a thesis. Like we had to write a thesis, so it wasn't like much problem for me. मेरा उस वजह से काफी like research वगैरह का experience था. But there are some universities where it is not mandatory to do a thesis. So in that scenario, you can try like collaborating with your professor or senior, because many university में कुछ ऐसे students say that are working on professors with their project. So you can like try doing that. And yeah, that's it for now. And if you want to send your documents for me to review, then you can send them on LinkedIn. हाँ, अगर document review कराने हैं तो मैं सिर्फ LinkedIn में ही करती हूँ because Insta वगैरह पे proper की तरह documents नहीं open होते. So yeah, this is it for now, and I would love to start taking questions now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this detailed session. Participants, अभी आप अगर आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन हैं तो आप काइंडली हैंड रेज करें, हम वन बाय वन आपको अलो करेंगे क्वेश्चंस के लिए. यस मिस सिद्रा, आप क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं.
मिस्टर सिंद्रा, आपको अनम्यूट कर दिया गया है. प्लीज आप
I think someone else can ask a question if he is not available right now. In fact, guys, it would be even better if you could write your questions in the chat box. It would be much easier for us to like go through them.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
If you want to ask question, please मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि इरेस्मस होनर्स बिजनेस और अकाउंटिंग से रिलेटेड फील्ड्स में मास्टर्स अलाउ करता है?
Yes, there are some masters that are related to accountancy or like finance. Again, I would suggest you to go to the catalog, and here you would find all the programs that are related to your bachelor's.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
गाइस, आप ऐसे किसी की क्वेश्चन है प्लीज क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स पे
Okay. Guys, we can do this thing. We can do this thing that everyone can send their questions in the chat box and I will answer them one by one. So, for example, Kiran has asked to share your sample. So, it was for a reason कि मैंने अपना पूरा letter नहीं दिखाया because unfortunately some students copy it A to Z and मेरे पास letters आए हैं review के लिए इसमें आधी चीजें मेरी copied होती हैं. So for this reason I would not be okay with like sharing my letter of motivation sample. And then can I apply for bachelor's? No, Erasmus Mundus is only for masters, so you cannot apply for bachelor's here. Is it fully funded program or not? Well, if you're getting selected on full scholarship, then it is fully funded. Like different categories होती हैं. Full scholarship, जिसमें आपका full scholarship होगा, you don't have to pay for anything. Then there is like half scholarship kind of thing, जिसमें ये होता है कि your education is free, but they are not giving you a scholarship. So it depends what you're getting selected on. Like, if full scholarship में select हो रहे हो, then everything is covered. You don't have to pay for anything by yourself. Can an engineering student apply for social sciences? I think I covered this thing, which is like when you will go to the website of the program, उसमें eligibility criteria लिखा होगा कि आपकी bachelor's degree इस चीज में होनी चाहिए. And अगर आपकी bachelor's degree उस field में नहीं है, there is no use of applying because आप eligible ही नहीं हो. So yeah, लेकिन कुछ प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई टॉक अबाउट मेरा बैकग्राउंड है केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग का, बट देयर वर some programs related to management and they were okay with receiving engineering background students. So again, it depends on eligibility criteria जो कि आपको हर वेबसाइट पर मिलेगा. Okay, for the people who have been doing job, yes, they can apply. In fact, it will give them an edge over other students अगर उनके पास ज़्यादा work experience है. But you need to make sure कि जो आपका 2-3 years का experience है, that is related to the field you are applying for. Otherwise, it won't help you. After DPT, is this helpful for MS in this? I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what DPT exactly stands for. Okay, yes, Muzaffar, you may contact me later. What about those who didn't? Okay, this is an important question, guys. I would like to talk about it. Okay. Okay, is this question for engineering field or medical field student as well? So if you're talking about MBBS kind of thing, then of course it doesn't offer that. But I know people who have background in biomedical sciences or applied biosciences or like sciences like that. So yes, there are master programs for them as well. There are a lot of programs that are related to the medicine side. No, GRE or SET is not necessary. You just need to have your bachelor's degree and IELTS in some cases to be eligible for it. Okay. This is important. If someone has done internships in different areas other than their FYP project, so when they're applying for masters related to FYP, so will it be a problem for the kid? No. So a lot of students do ask me this कि अगर हमारे जो है बैचलर्स सॉरी हमारे अगर इंटर्नशिप वगैरह रिलेटेड नहीं है हमें मेंशन करनी चाहिए या नहीं. सो आई वुड हियर से कि अगर आपकी इंटर्नशिप का कोई एक भी एस्पेक्ट रिलेटेड है प्रोग्राम के साथ, मेंशन दैट. क्योंकि मेरी सारी जो मेरे इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस दिखे थे, नॉट ऑल ऑफ देम वर रिलेटेड टू मेम्ब्रेन एंड वाटर, बट आई स्टिल मेंशन देम क्योंकि उसमें कुछ स्किल्स थी, रिसर्च स्किल्स थी जो कि रिलेट कर रही थी. सो एज लॉन्ग एज लाइक वन एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट रिलेट्स टू द प्रोग्राम, यू कैन मेंशन दैट. वो नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि A to Z आपका सब कुछ सेम हो. That's not possible practically. Okay. Will they give Shenzhen visa for this college and master can apply for? Yeah, there are a lot of AI programs you can apply for within the scholarship. And Shenzhen visa मिलेगा आपको. It's like the visa would be for one country, but you are eligible to move around Europe with that visa. Research publications are not necessary. They are not necessary. And MS after doctor of physical, yes, there are a lot of programs for that are related to physical therapy. you should go through the catalog. How many programs? Like I said, that you can apply to as many programs as you want. There is no limit, but it is recommended to apply to only as much programs as you can, give your time to and proper documents. Thank you. And actually, I think time meeting का end होने वाला है, and I don't know what extent होगा नहीं, so I'm just trying to like go through all the question. Mr. Graduate, and share my, yes, you can share your letter of recommendation and everything on LinkedIn with me. Water resources for this, water available in this niche. Yes, there are a lot of programs that are related to water resources. मेरा भी background पर उससे related है, so I would recommend you to go to the catalog, and आपको कोई 6-7 programs मिलेंगे that are related to water resource sector. Graduate of this, 3 programs, but got an interview with this, but wasn't selected. Yes, you can share your documents with me. You get referral receiver, but they yes, UGAT is closed, and I personally went to SUSI, SUSI. You can search that, or there is another one, sister to sister exchange, and both of these are in USA, so you can consider looking for them. Who is providing the Erasmus Mundus scholarship? It is from the European Union. Okay, what are opportunities for medical students? Like I said, that I would suggest you to go to the catalog, and there are a lot of master programs that are specifically for the students of medical background. So you can see that you want to go for research side or something, you would find a lot of programs for your background. Okay, so I can leave my base in English. And yes, there are a lot of programs that are related to like what do I call it exactly? Actually, my background STEM ka hai, so I don't know the exact words, but yeah, there are programs that relate to the writing aspect. Basically like literature वगैरह से related आपको काफी program मिलेंगे इसमें. Erasmus में. Yeah, so I was telling about other exchange programs. I went to SUSI, SUSI, that is Study of United States Institute, and there's another one, sister to sister exchange, and these both are in USA as well. So you can try learning about them. Minimum CGPA requirement, I covered this thing. Most of the program do not have any specific GPA requirement, so you can apply to them. But कुछ programs में specifically लिखा होता है कि 3.5 is the minimum CGPA requirement, so it is very important to read the requirement before applying. Job opportunities. So I would like to give an advice here that when you would be shortlisting the programs, तो इन programs से आपको show हो रहा हो कि अच्छा ये countries involved हैं, and उसमें you can see के let's say आप 2 programs select हो गए हो, आपके पास 2 like programs की option है, उसमें you can see के आपका final semester है वो किस country में होगा. You can see कि वहाँ पर language barrier है, English का या नहीं, and job situation conditions कैसी हैं. So this is like one of the important factors you have to consider while shortlisting your countries for the program. And यही है कि if you are in a country जहाँ पर इतना language barrier वाला issue नहीं है, so there is a chance कि you can get your job, but you're not eligible to do a full job during your masters. So master के बाद की बात है कि आप apply करोगे and after selection वगैरह होगी. So yes. Is it possible for someone aviation law and cargo to apply for if they have actually? Yes. I know a lot of people who have their bachelor's degree in naval architecture and they are pursuing their masters in like under Erasmus scholarship. So you would find a lot of programs on the catalog. Which degree are you pursuing? So I'm doing MESD, which is like membrane engineering for sustainable development. So like my own bachelor's was in chemical engineering, and currently I'm doing membrane engineering, which is very much related to a mixture of like materials and chemical. What was your question? I'm sorry, Gibran, but I'm unable to see the old questions. They are not visible, so it would be nice if you would ask it again. Which programs are best for the chemistry graduates? सारे programs best है, but you would find a lot. Like अभी जो मेरा program है, they had they shortlisted students from chemistry background as well. So chemistry के तो बहुत ज़्यादा like STEM के तो वैसे ही बहुत ज़्यादा Erasmus programs हैं, लेकिन chemistry के लिए there are even more. Is there any semester exchange program for medical students? We are talking about masters here, so it would be nice if we can stick to that. Because अगर Erasmus Wonders की बात करूँ जिसका सेशन है, then उसके अंदर like I said कि सिर्फ मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम्स है, not semester exchange or bachelors. आपको interesting information है. I'm not talking about a specific university. मैं Erasmus Mundus program scholarship की बात कर रही हूँ. उस scholarship के अंदर around 190 से 200 master programs आते हैं different fields के. And then आप जब catalog में उस program की website पर जाओगे, you would find different universities जो कि इस program में involved हैं. But you don't have to apply to a university. आप university में नहीं apply करना. आपको जो university की program की main website होगी, आपने वहाँ पे apply करना है. ठीक है, आपको अलग से यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. इट्स जस्ट वन वेबसाइट जो सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज की लेट्स से क्युमुलेटिव होगी एंड यू हैव टू अप्लाई ओनली ऑन दिस वेबसाइट. एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट पर्सनली, मैंने काफी स्कॉलरशिप के लिए अप्लाई किया था एंड Erasmus Mundus हैज लाइक द इजीएस्ट एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस. लास्ट डेट कौन सी है? लाइक आई सेड कि हर प्रोग्राम की अपनी डेट होती है, बट यूजुअली दे ओपन अराउंड अक्टूबर टू नवंबर एंड जनवरी फेब तक सारे प्रोग्राम्स क्लोज हो जाते हैं. मैम क्या इंटरमीडिएट के बाद इंटरनेशनल स्कॉलरशिप्स हैं? दे आर नॉट Erasmus Mundus, but other than that I can name a few. For example, MEXT का शायद आपको बताओ, MEXT, it's like a Japanese government scholarship for bachelors. And then there is CSC, which is Chinese government scholarship, and there is GKS, which is Korean government scholarship. And yeah, these are for bachelors. You can consider them right after your intermediate. Public health department, yes, there are a lot of programs related to public health, and again I would suggest you to go through the catalog and you will find a lot of programs related to medicines and public health and physiotherapy. Yes, mathematics department as well. Is there any visa expensive? Okay, this is an important question. So like I said कि आपको stipend मिलता है and that stipend is more than enough to cover everything, but you get the stipend after arriving in यूरोप और जो आपकी फर्स्ट यूनिवर्सिटी कंट्री है. सो जाने से पहले जो भी आपके एक्सपेंसेस होंगे लाइक योर टिकट, योर वीजा, आपके डॉक्यूमेंट की अटेस्टेशन, यू हैव टू बियर दैट कॉस्ट. एंड क्यूमुलेटिव जो कॉस्ट होगी अटेस्टेशन, वीजा वगैरह की, दैट कैन बी अराउंड 1.5 to 2 लाख. सो यू हैव टू बियर दैट कॉस्ट. एंड जब आप पहुंच जाएंगे वहां पर, तब आपको जो है आपका फर्स्ट लाइक इंस्टॉलमेंट मिलेगी स्कॉलरशिप की. मैम ट्वेल्थ के पास आउट ऑफ I just named a few scholarship. GKS, जो कि कोरिया गवर्नमेंट का स्कॉलरशिप है आफ्टर 12th. Then there is MEXT, MEXT for Japan and CSE for China. No SET or GRE are not necessary. You don't have to take any test to be eligible for this scholarship. You just need to have your bachelor's and IELTS and some conditions.
I think most of the questions have been answered. So we will end our session here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate this scholarship. Once again, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So guys, we are ending our session here. Goodbye.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you guys for attending. And if you're having any questions, even other than this, or you need help with documents review, you can reach me out on my LinkedIn.
Okay, goodbye.